blood and sex. To the Aztecs, these were not opposites, but twins, born together and bound by divine hunger. Imagine the torchlight flickering against temple walls, drums pounding through the night, a priest painted black emerging from the sweat lodge, his skin slick with steam and resin smoke. His shaved head gleams with oil, his breath heavy with pulque. Around him wait trembling initiates, their bodies naked, their faces smeared with chalk. They are not lovers meeting in secret, nor slaves forced to obey. They are offerings. The ritual will bind their shame, their desire, and their pain into something greater, a currency for the gods. This was not hidden indulgence. This was religion. The Aztec world was one of paradox. Their empire flourished on order, yet their gods demanded chaos. Their public face was disciplined, but behind temple walls, passion and violence fused. To sustain the universe, the Aztecs believed, one had to feed the gods with blood, with seed, with the essence of life itself. And so the priesthood, those gaunt, shaven men clad in stiff black robes, became not just arbiters of death, but guardians of sacred lust. Celibate in theory, yet in practice. They presided over rites where sex and sacrifice mingled until neither could be separated. Spanish chroniclers who witnessed fragments of these ceremonies recoiled in horror, scribbling feverishly yet hesitating to describe fully. How could they explain orgies staged beside altars, or priests who mingled semen with sacrificial blood before lifting it to the sun? How could they write of children mock-married to maidens, or of human skins worn during intercourse, without branding the entire civilization as demonic? And yet these accounts remain torn, uncertain, but undeniable. They reveal a world where the body itself was a temple, and its violation a sacred act. One of the most haunting ceremonies surrounded Totec, the flayed lord. In his festival, captives were sacrificed and their skins peeled away, then worn by priests like wet, dripping vestments. The sight alone must have been overwhelming. Figures moving through the streets, their limbs concealed in sagging human hides, blood still oozing. Within this grotesque costume, priests performed unions with chosen women, symbolic acts of fertilization. The logic was terrifyingly clear. The earth was the flayed body of a god, and to seed it, one must mate within the skin of the dead. The mingling of sweat, flesh, and decay was believed to ensure the maize would grow. Other rituals turned toward Tlazolteotl, the goddess of filth, desire, and absolution. She embodied everything forbidden and everything cleansing. Her priests did not shy from sexual rites. They enacted them openly, sometimes with slaves, sometimes with virgins chosen from conquered villages. Chroniclers wrote of ritual defloration, where the priest's act was not framed as lust, but as spiritual cleansing. Sin was drawn out through the body, desire absorbed into ritual, and afterward, the victim was often slain, her body another vessel emptied for the gods. A salvation that left no survivor. During great festivals like Panquetzalistli, dedicated to Huitzilopochtli, warriors and priests intoxicated themselves on pulque, the fermented drink of the agave. In the haze of drums and fire, they joined with temple dancers, the ritual escalating until semen was gathered in gourds, mixed with blood drawn from the priest's own ears and tongues, and poured upon the altar. This mingled fluid, essence, and sacrifice was believed to nourish the sun itself. To spill seed was not a sin. To waste it outside ritual was meaningless. Only when bound to blood and flame did it have cosmic power. The goddess Xochiquetzal, patroness of flowers, pleasure, and youthful beauty, added yet another disturbing layer. Her festivals were carnivals of inversion. Priests dressed as women, women dressed as men, masks hid faces and roles blurred in the night. Sexual encounters, heterosexual, homosexual, and everything between, were sanctified beneath her gaze. To the Aztec mind, inversion was not corruption but renewal, the flipping of cosmic order to release hidden energies. In those nights, a priest in women's garb coupling with another man was no scandal. It was theater for the gods, a reenactment of divine play. There are whispers, too, of Xochipilli, the flower prince, god of art, music, and homosexual love. Some depictions show him seated in ecstasy, his body adorned with hallucinogenic flowers. His cult, entwined with dance and song, encouraged male-male unions, not as private indulgence, but as sacred ecstasy. Chroniclers, bound by Christian morality, could not write openly, but fragments remain, hints of priests who took young acolytes into secluded chambers, guiding them through acts meant to mirror divine union, their shame reframed as offering. Perhaps the darkest shadows fall on the rituals of Tlaloc, the rain god. Children were sacrificed to him, their tears considered precious, their cries echoing the storms. Yet some accounts describe ceremonies where these children were symbolically married before death, joined to maidens in fleeting rites, their innocence consumed twice. What began as a mock union ended in the knife. Even in its symbolism, the fusion of sexuality and sacrifice chills the blood. Why did the Aztecs consecrate sex with such violence? To understand is to glimpse their cosmology. Their myths are filled with gods who raped, flayed, and devoured. The universe itself was born from dismemberment and violation. To them, creation was not gentle, it was obscene. If gods lived this way, how could humans serve them otherwise?
Ritual sex mirrored divine acts, a way of binding mortal flesh to cosmic cycles. These rituals reinforced power.
Priests stood as mediators between man and God, their acts both terrifying and unquestionable. The body of a captive, a virgin, a slave, all could be claimed for the divine economy. Pleasure and terror were not opposites but allies. An orgy beneath the temple was not indulgence. It was insurance, feeding the sun, keeping the maize green, ensuring rain would fall. Even gender roles bent under the weight of cosmic necessity, reminding all that no boundary was beyond the reach of divine hunger. When the Spanish arrived, their disgust overflowed. Bernardino de Sahagún wrote of sins beyond speaking, while Friar Diego Duran described the Aztec cults as works of the devil. They recoiled at the mingling of semen and blood, the skins worn in intercourse, the mock marriages of children. To them, these rites were proof of damnation. Yet their revulsion also reveals how easily religion sanctifies desire. The Aztecs wore no disguise. What the body longed for, what the gods demanded, were woven into the same ritual. And here lies the unsettling truth. We look back with horror, but history forces us to confront the thin line between worship and violation. The Aztec priests did not think of themselves as perverse. They were sustaining the cosmos. Their sexuality was not theirs to claim. It was an offering, a performance, a sacrifice. Desire became currency, bodies became altars, and what we see as depravity they saw as survival. The fires have long since gone out on the great temples of Tenochtitlan. The drums have fallen silent, the incense burned to ash. But if you listen closely, you can still feel the echoes, the cries of captives, the laughter of dancers, the moans muffled beneath human skins. The disturbing sexual rituals of Aztec priests remind us of the extremes to which belief can drive a people, of the strange marriages between lust and fear, ecstasy and terror. Some histories are remembered, but others are abandoned.